Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Small Town Big Business, a podcast about doing big business in small town, middle America. I'm your co-host for today, Deb Barnett. I'm also with Southern Illinois Now, where we focus on advancing the Southern Illinois region as a great place to live, work, and do business.
And I'm the co-host, Russ Williams. I'm director of EThOs. EThOs is a small business incubator, co-working spaces. We do training and development here in downtown Marion, Illinois, where you're joining us here at the Citadel building. And we want to thank you for joining us, but we also want to thank our sponsors who put this together and supports the Small Town Big Business podcast. So thank you to Arcadia Wealth Group and Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, to Fowler Heating and Cooling Company, thanks to the Swinford Media Group, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, and two brand new sponsors coming on board. We want to thank Banterra Bank and also Southern Illinois Now for joining us as sponsors.
We're so happy to be a sponsor. We have great sponsors. You can join the Small Town Big Business podcast on your favorite podcast platform. You can also find us on our YouTube channel. Just search Small Town Big Business. And don't forget to subscribe while you're there, and you'll be notified of all of our new upcoming episodes and also see our entire archive of episodes coming up on 86, somewhere around there at this point. So we're very excited about that. If you're new to Small Town Big Business, we talk with small business owners and founders about how they have found such great success in small towns. And today we're very, very excited to welcome a little bit of a different business than I think what we've interviewed before. We have Judy Hoepker from Rolling Oak Alpaca Ranch. So welcome.
Hello, thank you. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
So excited about this one. And Judy, we do want to know a little bit about you. And I know this business is sort of a mother-daughter duo, which is a little bit unique. So let's start, though, by saying how does someone even get into the alpaca business? How did that start?
The daughter.
Okay.
My daughter was crocheting. She was making things for friends and family, and she had decided that she didn't like working with scratchy store-bought yarn. So she Googled softer yarn, and she came up with alpacas. And she said, "Hey, Mom, you're not using the farm anymore. Would you like to get some alpacas and learn to spin?" Okay. I jumped right in, and sure. I had no idea where that was going to go. And here we are 13 years later.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was the daughter that got us into it.
So you started with one?
We started with three.
Three, okay. Mm-hmm. And where do you get alpacas from? I have no idea.
They're all over the country.
Okay, Amazon? Can you order them?
Well,
No.
Not Amazon. However, you can find them on Craigslist from time to time.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think that's actually how you got the start, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is. We found them on Craigslist. They were all pretty local. We ended up getting them over by Edwardsville for a lady that was retiring and getting out of it. And so we started with no mentor. We had nobody to teach us anything. Mm-hmm. But what we did do was start from a fiber end of the business, not an animal husbandry side of the business. So we learned a little bit about fiber, not enough. And then we took a class to learn more about fiber. Through a college out of New York, SUNY Cobleskill. And when we took that class, we decided we wanted to go on to learn more. And so we became certified master classers, so we can grade fiber for other people as well as ourselves. And that's when we learned that all the alpacas we had at home weren't really the ones we wanted to spin their fiber from for nice things to wear around your neck.
Interesting.
They were very usable. They'd make great dryer balls, great soap, great woven rugs to walk on, but not to wear as a scarf around your neck. So that's when we started bettering our herd. We worked with a lot of other farms and learned a lot more. And now we're set pretty good on the herd that we like, but we continue to improve. So we're always learning. But so one little crochet project led to where we are.
Yeah. How big is the herd today?
Actually, the herd size is down. We're down to 19 right now.
Okay.
We sold several last year, and we had, unfortunately, some elderly ones that it was time to let them go. It always hurts, but we have one old one left in the herd now. She's 20.
Okay.
Life expectancy is 15 to 20.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So we'll see how things go for her. She's kind of a favorite. She will stand and let people hold her and pet on her.
Okay.
But the rest of the herd is younger, and we'll be expecting several babies this year. So
Awesome.
the numbers will go back up.
How exciting. So you talked about the fiber part of it, but locally and maybe even beyond locals, I don't know how, where folks come from to visit the ranch, but you also have opportunities for folks to come out and take advantage of seeing them and petting them. And yeah.
We do. So we have an agritourism farm. Besides what we do, we open the farm up, and we offer 2 types of tours. We do self-guided tours. So we have what we call Alpaca Alley, and you can walk down the alley, and we have signs that talk about alpacas all the way through there that give you a lot of information, and you get a bucket of feed, and they'll come up to the gates and the fence, and you can feed them. And then on the weekends, we do offer guided tours where we will take you, and those are booked through our website. We take you in with the alpacas. We teach you a lot about them. You get some hands-on with them. We give you a fiber demonstration when we're done, and you get to learn a lot. So we've evolved from just what we were doing into that, and it was all because one little community really supported us, and because of them, we grew and grew and grew. And it was Cobden, of all places, a tiny little town, and it was at the old feed store. They had a farmer's market on a Sunday, and we started out there. And the community really, really supported us. And then because of that, people were like, can we come out and meet them? And so as people were coming to the farm, and more people were coming to the farm, and more people were coming to the farm, we got really busy with people, and we're like, we can't just let people come to the farm anymore. We're going to have to set up a tour and a charge thing, and that's
and more structure because it's your home too, right?
And but it was because of Cobden that we really got going.
Became the people business.
Way to go, Cobden.
Yes, it's a unique little
location-wise,
town.
are you close to Cobden, Illinois, or where are you
We are
located?
in a great location. Real estate is all about location. We are on the wine trail.
Okay.
So we are 10 minutes from Cobden, we're 10 minutes from Anna, we're 20 minutes from Marion or Carbondale.
Okay, yeah.
So we are in a great location. And so between all 4 towns, everybody has really supported us. But it's just that little bitty town where we got our start, which is kind of where I came from, a little bitty town.
Of course. So talk about that. Have you always lived in Southern Illinois, or how did you find your way here, if not?
My husband's job brought us here. We moved here in the spring of '98. So I actually grew up in a little town called Cameron, right outside of Galesburg, Illinois. And my husband was the statewide tactical commander for the Illinois Department of Corrections. And that's how I met him. He was on the road.
Okay.
So he was originally from Addyville, living in the Carlisle area at the time. And he opened up TAMS, the Supermax prison, as the chief of security. And that's what brought us here. And I had never been to this part of Illinois in my life until we came down here looking for property. I had no idea that this beauty existed in our state. And now I tell everybody I am blessed to live here.
Yeah.
We hear that all the time. People visiting, and they're like, we had no idea. Most people, when they hear Illinois, they think Chicago, the big city, and such a great city in our state. But then you look at the southernmost part, and exactly as you said, we're just really, really blessed to have what we have here.
We get a lot of Chicago tourism at the farm.
Yeah.
We have had people, and it just blows us away because we're just little bitty us, drive all the way down here from Chicago just to visit the farm. And so we always make sure to tell them to go do these things that don't take long, because some of them are driving down, come to us, they leave early in the morning, and they're driving back.
Oh.
Yes.
No, they need to come and stay for the weekend, for the week.
I know, but that's some people will do that. And it's usually the younger groups that do. The older people are smart enough to stay the night. But so we'll always tell them to, stop at least at Fern Cliff and, take the waterfall path. It's quick, it's easy, and at least enjoy something while you're here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we try to encourage people. And some people will drive down from St. Louis for the day. And I'm like, well, do you have other plans? And they're like, no. Well, you can't just drive back. And so during the season, I'll always direct them, take the back way home, go over to Rindleman Orchards, enjoy the flower fields. I tell them stop down, in Anna at the Annabelle Market, go the other way home. I always find something for them to do so that people are enjoying what we have to offer, even if they're here just for a short time.
Yeah.
And I love that about our business community too, because you just described something that I hear over and over and over with business owners, in that it's not just about their business, but they're really promoting the entire region and other businesses around.
It helps all of us.
Yeah. So it
Yeah.
sounded like this started as an interest and a hobby, and then
Yeah.
you're educated. I don't know, at what point do you say this is a business, or did you have that in mind already?
Good that you asked that. That would all be because of my son-in-law.
Okay.
My daughter had gotten up to 7 alpacas. And he told her, you're either going to have to learn to make money from these, or you're going to need to get rid of some. And that's when the business was born.
Yeah.
So that's when we
Transition.
started doing our first markets over at Cobden. That's
Right.
where it all started.
Right. So tell us about how you learned business that way, because do you have business degrees? Did you guys know?
No,
Okay.
which is really funny. When my daughter went to college, she wanted to go into business. And my mother absolutely refused to let her go and get a business degree. And she goes, yeah, look what that would have done for me now. So she went into sciences, which has paid off
Yeah.
for us
Sure.
in the farm.
Sure.
It's helped a lot. But I had worked for a printing company in Pekin, which is what I was doing, had been there for years when I met my husband. And so some of the jobs and responsibilities that I had there gave me a little bit of a business head. Knew a lot. And then my husband and I had done a few different things. We had a feed company for a while. And
Okay.
so
finances,
it wasn't, yeah. But yes, the younger self, what would I have told myself? Learn more about business. Yeah. Pay attention to those things that you think you're never going to use because you just don't know.
Yeah.
That's good advice. We always talk about, having a business and what support systems are in place to help business owners, and there are always people that are supporting them. You've mentioned your daughter, being able to work alongside her. You've mentioned how you learned along the way, the community of Cobden and others. Talk more about what kind of support have you had to help grow this business?
Absolutely. Our biggest support has been family. Literally, our husbands are our biggest cheerleaders. My elderly parents come down for every one of our big events and help. People that visit the farm all know my dad and tell me how wonderful he is. He's our parking lot greeter. Yes, so he makes sure everyone feels welcome when they come. Some of the bigger things would be literally community support. Marion has invited us. We're going to be here for our third Thursday. So they've embraced us, and we've kind of become a part of Marion. Anna has really grown and changed, and Anna has been a big support for us too. And one of the biggest, I'm going to have to say, is the whole state of Illinois. We are an Illinois maker. We're a MAID program. And the tourism office pushes that. And they have really given us a lot of advertisement, airtime, print publications they've done. They filmed a commercial down at the farm with Jane. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So it's broad what has helped us. There's a lot that has gone into it, and we have appreciated all of it. It's overwhelming sometimes when you think about everything that had to come together to make it all happen.
Yeah. So Illinois Made is a program to promote businesses that have products made here. Is that correct? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and you're right. The state's doing a great job of promoting businesses all throughout the state and really highlighting those really special and unique businesses like yours that are not only in Southern Illinois, but all throughout the state.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Good deal. So you mentioned family. So family is very much part of the business, but sometimes family doesn't work well in business. So tell us about your strengths that you add and your daughter's strengths. And we can mention her name since she is a big part of this.
That's Morgan Stevenson, yes. And Morgan is at home with my granddaughter, Cordelia, who's about to turn 10 months old. And so it was a little rough for her to come today.
Sure.
Yes. We play off each other. We're more like best friends than mother-daughter. She can finish my sentences, I can finish hers. Yeah. And we work well together because there's some things that I just don't like to do that she does. And we pick up on that. And we even learn different things, and we'll teach each other that skill. We both have a passion for the alpacas. So, I don't know, it's just real easy to work together. And with the support of the husbands who just really encourage us. And my husband being retired now, he's a lot of help on building and creating some of the things we're coming up with at the farm. So, family in our case has been wonderful.
Did you say how many acres you have on the ranch?
There's only 10.
There's only 10. Awesome. And then the name, does the name have any significance?
It does.
Rolling Oak?
It does. So when we moved there, our property it's kind of rolling hills. We are at the top edge of the Shawnee National Forest. And so anytime we want to build anything, it's get an excavator. But we were full of oak trees. One in particular. It was this huge oak tree in our backyard. And I want to say it's probably 6 or 7 years ago, it was struck by lightning. And we have one gate on the front of our barn that still has a big dent in it because that oak tree spread its branches all the way across our dry lot in front of the barn to right at the edge of the barn. But when we did that barn, remember I said everything had to have an excavator? There was a ravine between the tree and the barn that we had to fill in. And the roots of that tree, had that ravine not have been there, would have spread all through underneath the barn. And when I got up to see what had happened, it was midnight. And I looked out, I couldn't see anything, but I looked over at the barn and all the girls were huddled in one corner of the barn. Well, they would have not been alive had it not have been for that ravine, because lightning follows the roots of the trees. You always hear about cattle that die under the tree. That's why.
Okay.
And so, we lost the tree, but we saved the herd. So it was, and we mourned that tree because it was so iconic on the property. We mourned it for over a year.
So we've talked a lot about support, community, all of those types of things. I can imagine that if someone came to you and said, "Oh, Judy, was this always your life dream to have an alpaca farm?" The answer would be no, because it kind of came about as a need from that your daughter brought about, which is how most businesses start, right? But what advice would you give to someone who may be listening and maybe they've had this thought or dream of starting a business, or they've identified a need, an unmet need? What advice would you give them about getting started?
The very first thing is make sure you're passionate about what you do. I see a lot of people watch somebody else and they see what they've chosen and how easy it looks. And, well, I want to do that. Well, if it's not your passion, you're not going to like it and it's not going to work. And you see a lot of copycat businesses, whether it be clothing or farm life. I mean, you make sure you're passionate about what you do. Research what you do. We jumped in both feet not knowing anything about the business and had to learn along the way. And I wish we would have learned more up front instead of learning as we go.
Yeah. Good advice.
So what kind of challenges have you had as a business owner in this particular field? You mentioned lifespan of the alpaca, but what other challenges have you had in building this business?
Fortunately, we really haven't had too many challenges.
Okay.
We've been very blessed. I would say the biggest one that we're having now is we would like to have more property, but we are completely landlocked where we're at. But we never foresaw any of this coming. We've raised goats before, we've had bottle calves, we had horses out there, but we never saw this need. Learning some of the skills that we've had to learn along the way have been challenging. But we really haven't had anything major. It's just, we've been blessed. We really have.
Are there other ranches like you nearby?
There are. There's another tourism ranch up in Mount Vernon.
Okay.
And you can go there and book a tour.
Okay.
They have different other animals as well. So it's not just an alpaca farm. And then there's another one around that will take animals places, but you can't go there to visit.
And I appreciate that you just really started with what you had. I think we hear that a lot of times with folks who are wanting to start a business, and they think, oh, I need this huge building, or I need, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you started with what you had.
Work with what you have.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We made it work. You don't have to have, $50,000 show animals to make the business work. If you want to go that direction, that requires a whole lot more business skill and a whole lot more money. You better make sure that you got your loans in place, and you really have to research the alpaca industry and know in order to make that style of business work. There are a few large farms in our industry that breeding farms that know how to make that work and are very successful at it. But it takes a lot to do that.
Yeah. So you have used business loans in order to advance?
During COVID, we got the economic disaster loan, and that is the only one we've ever done. Okay. We make the alpacas pay for themselves. We were advised by our accountant, actually, to take that one. They said it's such a low interest, take it. Yeah. And we're like, okay. But other words, we do what the alpacas bring in. Yeah. So right now it's a party room that's just about ready to open. We should have it almost completely done for the eclipse.
So tell us more about that. That's getting ready to open, but also just we've talked a little bit about the business, of course, how it got started and some of the things that you offer now. But for folks who aren't familiar, give us a glimpse into what the ranch is like. So
if you come out for a self-guided tour, you're just going to drop in on the hours that we're open, on the days that we're open, and we will give you a feed bucket and tell you a little bit about them and get you started on your path. And you can spend as much or as little time out there with them as you want to. We are going to get benches and stuff set up, so if you wanted to bring yourself a little snack and hang out there with them, you're more than welcome to. Our guided tours, we talked a little bit about already and what that encompasses. Our events are a little bit different. We do a huge Christmas event every year. Last year we did 3 weekends. This year we're not sure if we're going to add a 4th one or not, but it's gotten so busy that we've had to spread it out just to have enough parking and space for people. And we have fiber arts demonstrations then. We have our guild that comes out and demonstrates weaving and spinning and other crafts. And we always have Santa. We have we've had bounce houses in the past and lots of craft activities going on. We do a National Alpaca Farm Days every year in September, and the same type of activities go on, the craft and the demonstration. And this year, because of the eclipse, we're having an alpaca lips event.
There you go.
Yes. And so you'll come out and we'll provide the glasses, the feed cups. You can bring a blanket and a meal if you want to. We're not doing a food vendor at this one because we're not sure just how long everybody wants to hang out. And so you can come out and sit with them. There will not be fiber arts demonstrations, but we do have a make it and take it bracelet bar, which is something that we've started. We did our first one down at the Annabelle Market in Anna, and it was kind of fun. You can come and we'll teach you how to make the alpaca bracelets. And
So how do you market an alpaca ranch? Is it purely networking, or you just event leads to another event, or social media maybe?
A lot of social media.
Okay.
And a lot of the state tourism office.
Oh, okay.
Has promoted a lot of it. Carol down at the Southernmost tourism office.
She's fantastic.
Carol Hoffman. Gosh.
Okay.
Yes.
Plug to Carol Hoffman, Southernmost Illinois
the best.
Tourism.
She is who came to us about becoming an Illinois maker. Yeah. It was another lady that worked for the Agri-News that moved away and is back now. And if she listens to this, she'll know who she is. And she's who pushed us to kind of brand ourselves. She said, you guys are going somewhere. She goes, you need a professional logo. She was telling us all these things we needed to do. And so we had a little coaching. That we appreciated so much. Yeah. We've told her over and over, you are the reason we are where we are. Yeah. No, I'm not, she says.
That's exciting. Do you have school groups out?
We do. We do a lot of school field trips. We do homeschools, public schools, private schools. Matter of fact, we just had one. We've got another one coming up. So,
Cool. Educate me about alpacas, because I really don't know that much about them. How do you find them? How do you care for them? Are they South American based? Is that?
They are.
Yeah.
They are. So alpacas came to America in 1984.
Okay.
So they haven't been here very long. And they have never been a wild animal. They've always been a domesticated animal. The Incans raised them. They're part of the camelid family. So that includes the camel, the llama, the vicuña, and the guanaco. Alpacas were derived from the vicuña, just like dog came from wolf, and the llama came from the guanaco.
Okay.
So South America won't let the vicuñas out of the country. They pride those things. So here in America, some breeders decided to take the alpacas that had vicuña-like qualities and breed them backwards, and they have pacavicuñas, look just like a vicuña. So they are a herd animal. You can't have just one. They can actually get very depressed. So it's recommended that you have at least 3. So they have a hierarchy in the herd. There's always an alpha, and then there's a guy at the bottom. And if you have 2, they're going to fight all the time. So having 3 kind of levels out that playing field a little bit. You shear them every year. They do not shed. Their fiber will continue to grow, and that's not good for their health. They can run 40 miles an hour.
40 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, you would never think that, right?
Right.
I would not.
They do get fed every day, a special mix for alpacas.
Yeah.
They need hay, they need pasture, and we keep them up at the barns every night. They are a prey animal, so everything is scary to them.
Okay.
And so you need to keep them, they have no form of defense. You need to keep them safe at night. We do not use a livestock guardian dog because we do a lot of tourism. We had talked about it, and we decided the dog's either going to be in everybody's business, and a lot of people are scared of a big dog, or we're going to have to put the dog up, and that's teaching a livestock guardian dog the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So we opted for not going that way, and our insurance agent was very glad. Yes, and that was another thing. It was hard to get somebody to cover all that we do.
Yeah.
Not most insurance companies would. We had to find one that would.
Yeah. Are there predators in your part of the country?
Yes, there are.
Okay.
Yes, there
They're
are.
looking at llamas. Or alpacas, I should say.
Actually, the biggest threat that we have had is dogs.
Okay.
And it could be a friendly dog, but it's not a friendly dog when the alpaca is involved, because the alpaca is very curious, so it wants to know what the dog's doing. And the dog is curious, and it wants to sniff the alpaca. Well, the alpaca gets scared, and it runs, and dog says, "Oh, game on." And so then the chase ensues, and usually it ends up negatively for the alpaca. But we do have cougars or mountain lions in our neck of the woods. My husband and son saw one about a mile down the road from us when we first moved here, and we haven't seen any since then. But I had a neighbor that lives, as the crow flies, about 2 miles away, and over on his side of the interstate, they have one over there. And so I'm hoping that the interstate is a big enough deterrent that it stays over there.
Sure.
Keep the bobcats over there.
Well, no, the bobcats, we've got them, but they haven't bothered us. If we have babies, the babies are up, so they're never out alone. What does scare us is when the big eagle flies over the farm and the babies are out. Yeah, you'll never see my daughter run faster than when she sees the eagle and the babies are out.
Yeah, okay.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you ever think you would become this alpaca expert?
No,
Well, you
absolutely
are.
not.
Yes, you are.
I know a lot, but that's because we've had some wonderful classes that we've taken. We've hooked up with some wonderful people that have taught us more. The Alpaca Owners Association is really good at putting on seminars and stuff to attend. So while I know a lot, I'm still learning a lot.
Yeah.
I think that message translates to any business. Find your people, find your group, learn, never stop learning.
Yeah, and the alpaca community is wonderful. I mean, you can reach out, and everybody's always willing to give advice or help.
Sure.
So it's just a good thing to be a part of. It's not competitive. It's friendly.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned you're landlocked, so there might be some growth boundaries there, but is there any future vision you see this becoming something?
Oh yeah, we have lots of plans in the works, but like I said before, it's the alpacas have to pay for it.
Okay.
We don't really want to go into debt.
Yeah.
We want the alpacas to be able to pay for everything. That's why the party room
Smart.
is being done, and it's taken us
Yeah.
over a year to do it because they're putting the money into it. And so we have some other events or other projects that are going to be built that we're not going to announce yet. But yeah, it's a lot more for tourism because our tourism industry is just growing down here. So we're going to have a
so
lot
much.
more for tourists to do at the farm.
That's
It's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yes.
We've talked about a lot. Have we missed anything? What are the kind of burning things that you wanted to share with some of our listeners that we might have?
You know how that
overlooked?
always goes when we're done? I'll say, I should have told them.
Well, then let's share how they find you then. Where can they find you?
Contact you.
So we have a Facebook page. It's Rolling Oak Alpaca Ranch. Instagram is Roar Fibers. It's a little play on words there, Rolling Oak Alpaca Ranch. And we have a website, rollingoakalpacaranch.com.
Okay.
And they can find everything that they need to know on one of those sites,
Yeah.
either through our events or through the calendar on our website.
And you're physically located in?
We are in the big suburbs of Lick Creek, which has no zip code. So we have a Macanda address, but we live nowhere near Macanda. We're actually right off of Interstate 57.
Yes.
Yeah, we did have. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of be mean to ladies, but a lot of times we like to know or like to think we know where we're going, and we like to give directions to our husbands. We had one lady call and she says, "We're in Macanda and we can't find you." I said, "We're not in Macanda." "Well, you have a Macanda address." She says, "You're in Macanda." I mean, she argued with me about where I was. And she said, "Well, I looked it up." And she didn't. And, her husband was just aggravated. And she was in Macanda looking for us. And I'm like,
Sure.
we're nowhere near there.
Macanda.
You
So
have
being
to
in a
punch this
town
address in.
without a zip code is the true definition of small town,
Yes.
big business, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it definitely is. This is why if anybody knows Lick Creek, they know there's maybe 50 people over there.
Yeah.
And so it's really
close.
funny when we
Beautiful.
say we're in the suburbs of Lick Creek.
Sure. Very
It's
good.
beautiful there. So the why question?
Yes.
Why do you do what you do?
I love what I do.
Yeah.
I absolutely love what I do. It's arts and crafts day every day with a little poop scooping thrown in. So it's a lot of fun. And, we get to come up with new products that we make all the time. We get to find new ways to entertain people. You get to meet a lot of interesting people and hear their stories because people love to talk to you when they come out.
Yeah.
I love what I do. So
And you get to do it with family.
yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
What a gift.
Yeah, and my daughter homeschools, so my grandkids are there all the time. It's great. I mean, I
fantastic.
couldn't ask for better.
Yep.
That's great.
That's good. Well, Judy, it's a pleasure.
Thank you very
The
much for
sun
inviting
came out
us.
while we were talking.
I know, it's going to be a pretty
Isn't
day.
that awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep. Our guest has been
You're
Judy
welcome.
Hoepker from Rolling Oak Alpaca Ranch.
Yes.
So thanks for joining us. It's been a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Really good. So thanks to everyone for joining us on these podcast episodes of Small Town Big Business. Thank you to our sponsors for supporting us and making this happen. So we want to thank Arcadia Wealth Group, Black Diamond Harley Davidson and RV, Fowler Heating and Cooling, the Swinford Media Group, Watermark Auto Group Foundation, again, our two newest sponsors, thanks to Banterra Bank in Southern Illinois Now. Thank you again to Luke O'Neill at Union Street Arts for being our producer and making this happen. We're very thankful for Luke. And if you want to know more about EThOs, we're a small business incubator here in downtown Marion, Illinois. You can reach me. I'm Russell Williams. I'm director, and I'm at russell@watermarkethos.org, or you can search our brand new website, ethosmarion.org.
And I'm Deb Barnett with Southern Illinois Now. You can find us at southernillinoisnow.org or also on our social media channels. And speaking of finding us, you can find the Small Town Big Business podcast on your favorite podcast platform or also on our YouTube channel. Just search Small Town Big Business. While you're there, don't forget to subscribe and share this with a friend. I think there are so many people that will enjoy hearing not only this interview today, but our whole catalog and archive of episodes, and we appreciate you sharing. So again, I'm Deb Barnett.
I'm Russ Williams. See you
Have
later.
a great day.